And the bottom left in the red. Looking to move on once again, hit the second finals today. Win his second finals today, maybe. His name, MaxPax. And the upper right, looking to put an end to that run. The Terran player, ByuN. And we've already seen one TVP series this evening. It was Hero, it was Clem, and it was so good. It was actually just insanely good. This is and we talked about it. Hero and Clem played each other 19 times in Legacy of the Void. Well, ByuN and MaxPax, they're online warriors. Even though one's from Europe and one's from Korea, they play each other quite a bit more often. And this is one that Aligulac thinks that, despite it being almost an even 50-50, Aligulac thinks this is going to be a 2-0. So keep an eye on that as we move forward into things, even as we're looking at this. And even as, you know, this is going to be tightly fought. Is a one-game lead enough to turn the tide? Is a one-game lead enough to put this series on its head? I don't know. Aligulac seems to think so. But again, I was talking about that last series that we saw where it was Hero and it was Clem. It was an awesome series. And we saw Hero open Stargate 2 times in a row. He didn't get much done, but he didn't lose because of the Stargate play. He lost because he just let units into his base and they killed him. That was not a balanced consideration. That was just sometimes Hero does Hero things. This game is not going to be a Stargate game. And I think MaxPax has learned his lesson from playing Clem a lot, where Clem has shown us quite a bit, especially against MaxPax, where if you open Stargate, you open Oracles or something, whatever it is, if you decide to do that, you can reactively go into Cyclones behind and just shoot everything out of the sky and win the game. And it looks really, really song. But of course, in this game, we're seeing something a little bit different out of ByuN. He's got Hellions on the way, adding in a couple more Marines. Starport on the way behind this. And yeah, this is still a 2-base build. But again, this is one of those setups where ByuN, I'm still stuck in the last series, where ByuN is trying to be aggressive out of this. This is Barracks. He got 2 gases early. He built his command center on the high ground because he's going Barracks Factory Command Center. This is all, again, very much around this early pressure. And MaxPax needs to figure this out. He, at the very least, he wants to see what's happening. Pooling the Hellions like this tells us that it's going to be a Hellion drop. Probably. Hellion drop with Marines. Or Marine drop with Hellions in the natural. Something like that. But okay, here come the Marines. The thing is, though, MaxPax has figured this out. MaxPax knows that there are Marines on the map. He's going to see the Hellions as well. He knows what's happening in this game. And the Adepts, before the pressure of ByuN really happened, they get 2 SCVs. And now Stalkers are in the main base here. They don't have a blink. It doesn't matter. They are right where they need to be, right on time. MaxPax rebuffs this aggression, at least round 1 of it. But round 2 is a different story. Big difference from that previous series. Big difference from that series where Hero just died twice is the fact that there's a wall in the natural. That random unit run by is not going to work out incredibly well. Things have changed around a little bit. It's no longer Marines in that medevac. Now we have 3 Hellions, that one-shots probes, and this may catch Hero, or he may catch MaxPax off guard. He may be expecting the Marine drop again, Hellions in the natural. And it does require a little bit different of response. You do have to be on top of things. You do have to be ready. And MaxPax, he's pulling his Stalkers to the natural. He's getting ready for this aggression of his own. And that is exactly what ByuN's waiting for. He wants to catch MaxPax when MaxPax isn't paying attention, when he's microing his own units. So this is that opportunity right now. Raven on the north side Medevac on the south side. Stalker's already in the main base. They're starting to get some damage done. ByuN, I'm watching, and I don't see any movement just yet. He feels the need to defend what is his own. 5 SCVs go down. On the other side, the Hellions, they drop on top of a pylon. The Stalkers are there. A single probe hits the deck, maybe a second. Everything is perfect for MaxPax here. The Raven's gonna go. No, it's not. No, it's not gonna go down. Instead, he has to target the auto turret. But MaxPax holds on so incredibly well right now. Yes, he lost a couple probes, but he gets 9 SCVs, and there's really not a lot to defend. There's a tank. MaxPax, spoiler alert, tanks have a minimum range. MaxPax can jump on top of that if that's what he wants to do. But for now, that's not what's going to happen. Oh, yes, the medevac in the middle of the map as well. Blinks forward. That's a little bit scary. The tanks will siege. But ByuN's not pulling the boys. This is all in. ByuN he knows what he needs to do right here. His initial aggression did not work. MaxPax held on so well. He's up 10 workers, and the scout sees everything. So MaxPax blinking as well as he can. Now, Raven, auto turret, gets a little bit of damage done at the third base. 4 probes go down, so that's a little bit better, but the Raven will fall by the wayside. No additional power right there. MaxPax blinks on top of the tank, gets that one down, and now this army of ByuN is not nearly as scary as it was otherwise. He's got one more tank, and that's actually a scary tank right now. These Stalkers are low, but even still. And ByuN at this point, a bit awkward. He's had these, you look at the worker count, it's 46 to 57. He's building more SCVs, but he's had these, what is that, like 6 SCVs? He's had those 6 SCVs in the middle of the map for a long time. His economy is not what it looks like. And every time MaxPax plays around these speed zones, backs up a little bit, kills more Marines, backs up once again. Now charge is done. 5 more SCVs or 5 more Zealots on the way. And by the way, guess what? Zealots in the natural, Zealots in the main. ByuN even more all in than he already was. He's dead. Oh, MaxPax looking good. People have talked about how PvT might be a little bit more Terran favored because of the GSL results. That was impressive for MaxPax. And the upper left here in the red, up a game. Just truly incredible defense and aggression and everything. MaxPax is just a god. Well, he said his name. It's MaxPax. In the bottom right, though, in the blue, down 1. His all-in did not work. It's ByuN. What are we going to see here in this game number 2? This is a map that's pretty popular, seems like, for Terrans to go and eBay block. To run across the map to force the protoss to expand here, which is incredibly vulnerable to any sort of Terran aggression, or expand here, and that's not much better, actually. Both are pretty rough. But ByuN's not doing that. Not in this game. That very much is a Clem thing, more than it is a ByuN thing. So, for now, MaxPax will be able to make that expand happen if he wishes. It's going to be, yeah, okay. It's going to be a cyber expand. That makes sense. So gateway cyber into the command center behind that, again, enabling any sort of tech that you want a little bit quicker than say just a greedier gate expand. And I think on a map like Oceanborn, you maybe a little hard to get away with. Although I think that's actually more true of the last map we played on. Those speed zones really enable some pressure, and that's part of the reason I think why we might have seen ByuN go and get as aggressive as he did. We're gonna have to see exactly what happens out of this one. Because remember, again, game 1, ByuN went for the 6 Marines, 7 Marines in the medevac. He tried to make that pressure happen. He had Hellions that also didn't work. And then MaxPax killed him with Stalkers, as he is wont to do. But MaxPax, again, opening Twilight in this game number 2. Game 1, or really what we've seen in this series, or out of this, the meta developments, is that MaxPax, kind of after getting slapped around by Clem a couple times in the first week or two, just really wants to open Stargate even less than he previously did. He is a 4-gate player. We know this. MaxPax loves his 4-gate. This is going to be a little different. We talked about stalkers and things. This is a DT rush coming out of MaxPax right now. And, you know, realistically, against a lot of the ways that ByuN plays, I think this is pretty good. Now, if ByuN opens Raven Harass, we saw that in game number 1, maybe this isn't great. But even then, if you time it out properly, the Ravens are going to be on the other side of the map. Terran doesn't have a recall. We're going to have to see is now. I mean, the Adepts are being a little obnoxious. They make a supply depot burn, but we can see how little they get done versus how quickly it takes to repair the supply depot. Not really all that much parity. Big thing, though. Drop from ByuN onto the other side of the map. 2 Widow Mines in a medevac. And if ByuN unloads this load, drops this load in the main, he's going to get a Scout of the Dark Shrine as well. But there's a nice juicy natural that he may choose to go into instead. Probes are going to get pulled. And now ByuN goes into the main base here. Stalkers are going to warp in. ByuN, did he see the dark? He didn't see the Dark Shrine. He has no idea. He just sees the Stalkers. So he pulls out. Solo game, though, is pretty strong here. And really not finding much. It's forcing actually significant mining time being lost. But that's going to be the extent of it. Now ByuN into the main base. Now he's going to see the Dark Shrine, but it's a completed one. This is a good thing for ByuN, but it's not as good as it could be. And in the main base, we're going to see one more probe go down. Grand total of 3. Now, DTs on the other side, but MaxPax not microing them. In fact, the warp prism gets very low, so it's going to be like 4 SCVs, maybe. Scans, what do we have? 1 scan there, 1 scan to the natural, 1 scan to the main pretty quickly. Yeah, this is just not good. This is not worth it. MaxPax was so distracted by the Widow Mine drops that he couldn't. Honestly, even moving his DTs would have been better than what happened, which was just having them sit there. And he gets 2 SCVs, loses 3 probes. He committed heavily to this tech that really hasn't done much for him, and now ByuN gets to push. He's pulled the SCVs. Once again, we're seeing that pressure. He's got a Raven on the way to make sure that his army's able to fight, and MaxPax understands the scale of what's happening in this game. He's not going to try to do things with DTs and sweep him in. He's building Archons. And he really does need them for this fight. So, in fact, actually, it's interesting. He's going to... Okay, so the Archons are going to come from behind here. There's 1 tank, no blink, no charge. Immortal's on the way. This third base, seems very likely to fall down, but the Archons from behind, if he can make this happen, more Stalkers here, he can buy time for the flank. This third base, very close to going down here. In fact, it seems like it's just going to fall. I don't know that MaxPax can hold on to it, but he's going to try to make that happen. Taking the fight right now. Probes getting pulled. Archons on the backside. They get the tank right down, but you got to get the Archons on top of the Marines. The army on the left side just dies. Now the base is still alive here, and MaxPax can afford to lose a couple probes if he keeps the base alive. 1 Archon falls. Second one getting microed here, and MaxPax keeps his third. He gets the bunker as well. MaxPax, very last second, 96 HP. 96 HP remaining on that Nexus. MaxPax, yeah, would he have preferred to keep those probes alive? Absolutely, but he keeps his third. Now it's his turn to put pressure on the map here. His blink's done. What a beautiful hold for MaxPax. Just an absolutely immaculate hold for MaxPax here, but he's got to find more damage. That's just step 1. His economy, it's okay. It's not great. Now he's going to blink on top, get that Raven down. He's got to get the Viking. He gets the Viking. Now there's no anti-air. Now the Warp Prism can do what it wants to do. Stalkers the natural. They got to blink into the main base, but with an Immortal here, with an Archon here, he's going to get on top of add-ons. Now, Immortal, it's got to run away. MaxPax has to pick that up, micro it around, but he gets the tank. And MaxPax, on this counterattack, might have just won the game. 16 dead SCVs, and the DTs, well, they're just warping in for a little bit of fun, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of happiness and joy if you're a Protoss player, not if you're a Terran. 26 dead SCVs, Archon and Immortal in the Warp Prism. They're pretty low. They're not going to be able to fight super easy. The Stalkers are out. They're dead. I don't know what killed the rest of the probes. This is 28 dead. This is 20. This is everything that MaxPax needed to find in this Immortal. Wow. It's interesting, by the way, how they changed the way the Immortal works. In that it used to be that you would pop the shield, and you'd pop the shield, and it would be a gray health bar that would slowly go down as you knock it down, and then like you would actually you would actively take the HP down. And it was just effectively extra HP. And now with the bug fix, instead of it being extra HP, it's still extra HP, but it goes down like it looks like a timer going down. Instead of where it looks like the Immortal's just taking no damage until the timer runs out. It works the same way outside of the bug fix. But I think I would argue that it's more satisfying for the opponent to go and oh well, there's Dead Observer. I think it's far more satisfying for whoever's playing the protoss player to actually have an HP bar that they're bursting down rather than what just kind of looks like a timer. Anyways, fourth base now on the way for MaxPax as he continues to pressure a little bit. He's got these Stalkers and these Zealots, and actually with the Immortal and the Archon here, can he break this? The Zealots getting on top of the bunker. Stalkers blink. They get this tank on the low ground, and at the very least, he's busting this natural. Now, there's a tank on the high ground, though, and that's a little hard to break down. So MaxPax has to back up. He's not going to end this game, but he knocks the tank down. He knocks the bunker down. But now ByuN's got Stim done. He's got combat shields done. His army supplies still in a decent spot, even as he's lost so much of his economy. And he has MaxPax in this timing where MaxPax, he's waiting on Storm. He's committed a decent amount to tech that is not showing itself yet. That's not valuable yet. So we're going to have to see whether he can find that. Whether he can find what he wants. But for now, Stalkers, they're going to get a medevac blinking away on the line of sight blocker. Storm is about 20 seconds out. It's an SCV pull as well. So if MaxPax can hold on the amount of time that he requires, I'd love some sentries just to wall things off, but I guess it's pretty wide. If he can survive this, it's just about 20 seconds now. There we go. 10 seconds. Storm's on the way. Big Storms end this game if MaxPax can find him. But the big tanks are, wait, was that three high Templars go down? The Flash Storm is massive here, but is there enough coming in from behind? I truly don't know. That one siege tank setup killed so much here. And now ByuN, he's got his tank siege up. This base is dead. It was dead from earlier on. MaxPax is not going to hold on anymore, but now Stalker's on the tanks on the backside. He needs these Zealots. I think ByuN's won this game. That one tank volley killed everything. But you know, ByuN's been muling heavily behind on this one, so the DTs defensively are doing everything, and ByuN hasn't. ByuN hasn't held this game. He has not won this game. He just got 20 probes, which one might normally say is pretty good, but he pulled the boys. He's already lost a lot of workers in this game. That gave him an opportunity. That tank shot killed 3 High Templar. That was, if he doesn't get that, this game's absolutely over. But instead, it meant that he was able to maintain his army supply in some way. But I don't know that he knows that MaxPax has the 4th. No, he doesn't. He's pushing into the 3rd. He has no idea about the 4th base at all here. So again, MaxPax force field is going to be really solid, getting on top of these Marines, forcing them out. And MaxPax, he'd love some Storms. He doesn't have the time for the Storms, but these Archons at the front line against against this force field. They're doing so much. MaxPax microing desperately here. Now drops on top of the Marines. He knows he's done it. He knows he's in the finals. MaxPax 2-0 over ByuN. The kid can cook. My God, the kid can cook.